Welcome to Two Guys.
A girl.
And an MBA.
In the past, even if something happened like this, like rising tariffs, uh, there was a different circumstances. Right now we have the internet, global village, everything is just faster, faster, faster. Nobody knows because it's never happened before.
Well, actually, it has. And they're going to start
When?
talking about the Smoot-Hawley Act of 1931.
That's right.
But
Smoot-Hawley,
without the internet, sorry, we don't have
well,
this big
well,
data.
well, let's just wait. So the Smoot-Hawley was a legislation passed by Hoover doing the same thing. And his intention was the same thing Donald Trump's intention. But the Smoot-Hawley Act, which is to raise tariffs to 20%, uh, bring back production to the America in 1931, if not started the depression, made the depression worse. It was a failure. You're going to hear a lot about it in the news. There was
Mhm.
nothing good about it. The gains with labor and productivity were offset by the depression. So, and then you couple it with the internet. You couple it with black swan events, like the pandemic was a black swan event. You can't predict these things.
Mhm.
And it starts a cascade everywhere on planet Earth. So I don't think he's going to keep this. I cannot see it continuing. It can't last. The market is down another 2% here right now. Um, this is an experiment that is live, and I don't know. It looks like it's gonna be a disaster.
I think it will be like renegotiation. So he just, okay, raise the tariffs, and then with each country, separate discussion. What you can give me, I will decrease the tariffs for you. What you can give me, oh, China, please give me TikTok. Please sell it. Sell it to Amazon, for instance. Amazon already claimed, oh,
You already said that.
I want to
Y-
buy the
Yeah,
TikTok.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
you already
If
said
not,
that.
yeah.
So going back to the Smoot-Hawley Act, the economists, the law was one of the most controversial tariff acts ever enacted by Congress. Doug Irwin, economics professor at Dartmouth, said, and basically it happened during the Depression. Like Herbert Hoover raised tariffs. It sparked a trade war, and a lot of people looking back, historians say that that worsened the Depression, and that the United States and the world would have come out of the Great Depression faster if that act had not happened and those tariffs hadn't. That's the precedent they're comparing this to. Elena, you have a good point. It's not 100 years ago. Things are very different. This was, airplanes had just been invented at this time. So, this was before World War II. So a lot has changed, a lot has changed. But there is a precedent in the past where they did raise tariffs. It started a trade war, and it crashed the global economy. And you're seeing the market crash, right?
I see
Yeah,
the opportunities if, for instance, okay, the high tariff rates for current moment, you can faster switch to a new partner, to a new countries, to a new union. Okay, not US, we can sell our products to someone else, to Canada. Why not?
I'll tell you why not. We only have 40 million people here, and they're poor. I mean,
All right.
there's two reasons.
Switzerland,
Switzerland, yeah, yeah.
Switzerland,
You
uh,
got like 800,000.
Scandinavic area, all of this, Finland, happiest country, Finland, Denmark.
Oh my God. There's no way that any country can replace the United States in consumerism. They've got so many people, China maybe. Um,
China.
yeah,
But yeah,
but
but China can sell to China.
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't think that's the game right now. Right now, look, let's talk about moving manufacturing back and nearshoring, which is a complete scam. Uh, Lululemon dropped off last week, and they said, why don't you just make Lululemon pants in Boise, Idaho, right? They need jobs. Let me tell you why. There are entire cities in China that just make the yarn for those pants. Just the yarn. There's a city. There's an entire city that takes
Really?
that yarn, yeah, and weaves it because you have to weave it a certain way. There's an entire
Yeah,
city,
yeah.
factories, miles and miles of factories that can weave it. There's entire cities where you ship that fabric to that have to stitch it with seamless machinery. Entire cities. We're talking hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
There's entire cities that put the label on. There's entire cities for all this stuff. You're going to put that in Boise, Idaho? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. There's no way. There's this,
Yeah, they
we
can't
talked,
compete. The labor costs are too high. You can't
it's
compete with
it's not even labor. It's access to all of this is impossible. You can't build You can get people to sew it in Boise, Idaho, but you can't get the fabric, the yarn producer to go to Boise. You can't get the weaver to go to Boise. You can't. How are you going to get it from Boise to distribute it all over? Are there rail systems in there? Is the structure made for manufacturing? America is not that anymore. So that is not the reason. He's not trying to get yoga pants made in Boise, Idaho. It's
Well,
impossible.
well, he may not be trying to get yoga pants, but he is trying to get things like steel and oil production back in the U.S. Like he's definitely, it definitely will increase, putting tariff on every country in the world basically definitely will increase domestic production. The
Yeah.
question is, what will the effect be for the United States and the rest of the world? Will it be a net positive for the United States or will it be a net negative? Looking at the market and see oil companies are crashing. Exxon, Chevron,
Oh my God.
right? We had this fun graphic.
It's time to buy.
It's time
Hmm.
to, yeah, I bought shares yesterday. I'm a Nike shareholder again. You saw anyone that had their supply chain based in Southeast Asia. It's not on this graphic, but I saw Nike, Hanes, all kind of retail, Target, anyone
Yeah.
that gets their sourcing and supply chain from Southeast Asia or Africa. Starbucks, their coffee, a lot of it might come from Africa. So anyone that is getting, materials or labor and doing global,
Apple, as I
yeah,
said,
Apple
chips
supply
and
chain, yeah.
all these
Yeah,
semiconductors.
anybody that has globalized trade like that's just relying on
I
South
mean,
Asia is
everybody has
under.
globalized trade. He's playing economic chicken. He's driving down the middle of the road. Everybody's driving down, and who's going to pull over first? And that's what he's banking on. And in between that game of chicken, he's just kind of cobble gains, right? How much business is he going to repatriate to the United States? How many discounts? He wants equal tariffs across the board. You brought up oil. He keeps claiming Canada, there's a $200 billion deficit. Most of that is oil. But the thing about Canadian oil is we ship raw crude into the United States to be refined. That's where the deficit comes in because they buy crude from us cheaper than they could buy it on the open market. They refine that crude and then ship gasoline back for Canadians to buy it.
Mhm.
Now, is that a great deal for Canada? It worked. But even in Canada, we're thinking that's a bad deal. Like, why are we giving them discounted raw crude and then buying their finished product? Okay, why don't we just do it here for our own internal consumption? So I think, there's a lot of countries questioning um, how this global trade works. And maybe it's better for everybody that we just kind of step back and figure out, is this the right thing? Economic chicken. That's what he's playing right now.
I wonder when we can see the real consequences, the real results. Like it's days, weeks, months. When we see, is it like plus or minus? So what is the prediction? How do you think?
Voting.
We're seeing both. I think you see short-term reaction in the market immediately, but you're going to see medium and long-term effects too that are, to Richard Wolff's point, somewhat unpredictable. Like you don't know. Like, okay, 50% increase on tariff in Vietnam might affect the price of, I don't know, sugar, or I don't know what they produce there, but you know what I mean? Like it's really hard to predict when there's multi-variables at play, which when you put a tariff on all those countries, there's many, many, many variables at play.